Was the Bible written to control women? That's a question people ask all the time. But most don't actually break it down with context. The truth is, it's not that simple. The Bible wasn't written in a vacuum. It was written over centuries in ancient societies, where men held legal and economic power, and women's roles were closely tied to family and survival. So when you read certain passages today, they can sound restrictive. One of the most quoted lines is "Wives, submit to your husbands," and it's often used like a weapon. What usually gets left out is that right before that, the text says submit to one another. It then goes on to tell husbands to love their wives as their own bodies and to sacrifice for them. That shifts the meaning from domination to mutual responsibility, even if it's still framed in a patriarchal culture. Another verse people bring up is the idea that women should remain silent in church. This comes from a letter written by Paul to a specific community that was dealing with disorder and chaos during gatherings. In that same context, women are also described as praying and prophesying publicly, which makes it clear that this wasn't a universal command to silence women forever, but more about maintaining order in a specific situation. There's also the line about not permitting a woman to teach, which has been used to justify excluding women from leadership roles. But again, the context matters. That instruction was tied to a community dealing with false teachings and confusion, and the original language suggests the issue may have been about domineering or misused authority rather than leadership itself. That nuance is almost always ignored in modern interpretations. Then there's the story of Eve, which is often used to place blame on women for humanity's downfall. But the text itself shows that Adam was right there and made the choice as well. He wasn't tricked into it, he participated. The story reflects shared human failure, not a singular fault placed on women, even though later interpretations leaned heavily into blaming Eve. Another commonly misunderstood line is "He will rule over you," which is often read as a command for male dominance. In reality, it's describing the consequences of a broken dynamic after the fall. At the same time, the text includes women in positions of leadership and influence, not prescribing how relationships are supposed to function, which complicates the idea that it's purely about suppression. Figures like Deborah, who served as a national leader, Mary Magdalene, who was the first to witness the resurrection, and Priscilla, who taught alongside men, all show that the narrative isn't one-dimensional.